All right, so let's get started. Go ahead and take your blue, your yellow, and your pink paints and put a little bit down. You can use a paper plate. I just didn't have any, so I went ahead and used my parchment paper. And make sure you have your 3 paint brushes that you'll need, and you'll just go ahead and start painting your cup. Now, you don't have to go from all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom. You can just do the middle. I just got a little carried away, I guess. But you're going to want to make sure that you leave a little bit of space between your colors for blending later on. Now, this brush I have for the blue was terrible, but I didn't have any other large brushes, and sadly I did 2 streaks with it. It was just terrible, but I did find another brush that was suitable. But you're going to go all the way around your cup with the blue, the pink, and the yellow. And you're just going to keep working it until you feel that you have enough on there. But just remember to leave room for the blending. And at this point, I'm pretty much done with this brush, and I went ahead and I grabbed another one. And then you can just go ahead and start blending your colors. And this is where you're going to get the purples, the greens, and the oranges. And you're just going to blend until you're pretty satisfied with the result. There's no such thing as over blending, I feel like. So you're just going to keep going until you're happy with how it looks. And then once you're done, you're going to let it dry, and you're going to spray paint the ends again white until you get to the middle. So I live in New York and the weather's pretty bad here, so I spray painted it already, and you'll see it coming up. Yeah, so you're going to want to just take some tack it and paint it on your entire cup. I know some people like to use like 1 part tack it to 1 part water, but I usually don't, and I don't have any problems with it at all. So you're gonna cover the entire cup in tack it. Don't even worry how much you're brushing on there. You definitely want the entire cup covered. So once I was done with that, I went ahead and took my heat gun and to just help it along a little bit. It shortened drying time by quite a bit using that. And then once I was satisfied that it was dry, I went ahead and grabbed the glitter that I was going to be using. The very first one is a ultrafine opal and it's moonstone, and I went ahead and covered the entire cup in it. And if you're not familiar with the tack it method, you can find so many videos all over YouTube on how to do it properly. So really you're just flattening the glitter into the cup when you're doing it, so you're not going to waste anything. So you're just going to take your hands and rub the entire cup all over. And when you do this, it will give you the opal effect that you're looking for the base of this cup. So once I was done, I let that sit for just a second, and I sealed it twice with clear Rust-Oleum. And I went ahead and got my epoxy. That's about 10 milliliters of epoxy, because even though this is your base coat, there's still glitter on it, so it might use a little more. I'm pretty sure I ended up using less than the 10 milliliters actually. So once you're satisfied that you have enough glitter on your cup, you're going to want to take your chunky opal glitter. The one that I have is called Girl's Best Friend. It is definitely one of the most stunning chunky opals I've ever seen. So you're going to want to take that, and you're going to start with a pretty thin line around the center of the cup. And then shake generously around the rest of it. I was able to do that with mine because of how my shakers are. So, and then once you're satisfied with that, you're going to take your fine cut opal. The one that I liked to use was the fine cut that I have. It's called Frosted Opal. Definitely one of the best sellers in my entire shop. And you're going to cover the bottom and just a little bit, just being careful not to go too much into where your chunky is. And then I went ahead and took my chunky and just did just a tiny bit more. But other than that, I was pretty happy with how that looked. You can go ahead and press down on the chunky glitter so it's not standing up. Some people use parchment paper, and I probably would have, but I usually just like to use my fingers to press everything down. And you're going to go ahead and let that dry for about 2 to 4 hours. And you can stick it on your spinner and put your epoxy coats on after that. So this being, I guess, what's considered a flood coat, I mixed about 30 milliliters of epoxy, but I didn't need the full 30. And after that spun for about 6 hours, I put another coat on there, and then I sanded it really well. And I only needed one more coat of epoxy after that. And that's it, you guys. This is the finished product. It's absolutely beautiful. And this was actually a very, very easy cup to make. I can't wait to see what you guys do.